Just make sure the stream's up and running, of course, and all that. Yep. Alright, cool. So, that's good. Oh, go away, ads. Gee whiz. Alrighty. I guess we're good. Alright, well, hello everyone, and welcome to round 15 of the Tier 1 Championship for the America Series. I'm KU997. Filling in for this race tonight, I'm taking over Lane Everingham, who is dealing with COVID for tonight, unfortunately, as I did last night for Pacific Tier 1. But tonight we are racing at the Silverstone Circuit for the British Grand Prix. It's a track that first had Formula 1 began in 1950, of course, where it all began. It was formerly a World War II airbase for the Royal Air Force back in the Second World War. Now, of course, it's been converted into a racetrack, where we have had the British Grand Prix ever since then. The track has 18 turns and 2 DRS zones, one of which leads down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands, and the other one down the Hanger Straight towards Stowe Corner. And of course, there are some famous corners around here, of course, with Abbey, Village, Loop, Brooklands, Left Field, Culp's Corner, of course, the fast right-hander of Turn 9, and of course, the fast chicane of Maggots and Beckett. It's a very high-speed, very technical racetrack around here, so qualifying will be exceptionally close, and also, we could see a lot of DRS trains that would be forming, like I saw last night in Pacific Tier 1. But before we go fully focusing to qualify, there is some news to go through first from the previous race at Abu Dhabi. Only one incident report came out of it, and it was the incident, of course, involving me and Captain Schmeg. That's Lane caught on stream between me and Captain Schmeg down the back straight where we both tangled, and he ended up the result was at fault, and Captain Schmeg was given 3 license points for the incident. Other than that, there were no other further incidents, so the results remain completely unchanged. As we know, this also is the final round of the championship, and there is a title on the line, of course, between Blockman and Axis, as I will get the championship standings up for you as well. So the Drivers' Championship looks like this. Axis leads the way on 325 points. Blockman is behind him on 307. 18 points separating those two. So, obviously, it's still pretty much on at this point, but Blockman, though, is going to need probably a bit of a miracle, I'd say, somewhat of a miracle to do it, but there are a lot of points up for grabs because this is a sprint race. So, as you know from a sprint format, we do a qualifying session, as you see here, and then we will go into the sprint, which will be 9 laps. The top 10 will score points, so obviously, with 10 cars on the grid, everyone will score points. And then we go into the main race, and that finishing order of the sprint will be the grid order for the main race. In third place is Rebel with 273 points. I would have said 52 points behind our championship leader. And for this, Sazidi with 210, and then it's myself with 156 points. The Constructors' Championship, as we know, is already wrapped up. Alpine have clinched the Constructors' Championship already. They are at 580 points, followed by AlphaTauri in second on 337. Red Bull Racing on 295. Williams on 259. And McLaren rounds it off the top 5 with 195 points. But that's it in terms of news. Well, we can now fully focus to qualifying. And I was given a weather report from Rebel, so it is dry, as you can see, for qualifying, but we will have wet weather racing for the sprint and dry conditions for the main race. And also I will change, change the little something here. Yeah, the speedometer at miles an hour. Because last night I had it at kilometers an hour because, like I said, I commentated last night for Pacific Tier 1. What? Did I accidentally? Yeah, I must have accidentally clicked off the stream, didn't I? Oops. There we go. Yeah, I just forgot I didn't have the stream up there on my end. Anyway, little Mick will complete his first lap. We'll set a 1:26.3. That's for now, the benchmark for everyone to chase that for pole position. Jay right now on that lap. Axe is on that lap. And Rebel 2 as well. Nander coming up towards the middle sector. I think Rebel's about to start a lap. Right along with the Alpine driver, give you a proper tour of the racetrack here at Silverstone, down the Hamilton Straight, up towards Abbey, as you'll reach in the first couple of corners flat out through Abbey, through Farm, and now into the village corner of turn 3, down to 4th gear, then brings it down to 4th gear, then down to 3rd at the loop. On to Aintree in the Wellington Straight, opens the DRS. We'll head up towards Brooklands as Captain Schmay goes to top with a 26 flat. 202 miles an hour from Rebel as he goes down to 5th gear through Brooklands, and now it's a left field, turn 7. 3rd gear is short shifting up to 4th just to get the traction and rotation from the Alpine car. Down the old pit straight through Woodcut and then into Cops Corner. Absolutely flats out this corner. You got to be very committed to this. As Plotman goes to the top with a 125.3. Now through the Maggots and Beckett's complex. Very fast technical corners around here. Oh, as the back end does step out for Rebel there at Maggots and Beckett's. Yeah, the car did not want to bite into that corner there. Now we'll head up towards Stowe Corner. Down to 5th. A little bit of modulation on the acceleration, on the throttle pedal. Now heads down towards Vale, down to 3rd, back up to 4th, around Vale, up towards Club. To the line he comes, will set a 125.8. Yeah, I reckon he did lose a bit of time, but yeah, Blockman putting up a statement lap already with a 1 minute 25.3. His championship rival Axis, meanwhile, is coming up towards Brooklands. Peak speed from the AlphaTauri, 203 miles per hour. Oh, and he cuts way too much of turn 6. Yeah, that lap is going to be invalidated. Will not count, unfortunately, there for Axis. Meanwhile, the Black Bola is making his way through the Maggots and Beckett's complex, up towards Stowe Corner. Let's see what peak speed the Mercedes has got. There's his teammate JBH getting out of the way for him. Around Stowe, uses the inside curve, around the corner, up towards now the Vale chicane. Hard on the brakes, down to 3rd. Oh, that's a lot of cutting if I ever seen one there. Use all that sausage curve there at Vale and then some. Yeah, those sausage curves you cannot touch. They will definitely do what they just did to Black Bola's car there. Axis goes back into pit lane. Jamie, while makes his way around Club, will cross the line. Will set a 25.822. So Blockman right now has about a half-second margin between P1 and 2. Gee whiz. Yep, he is already putting up a statement here in this session. Yeah, still got a few times left. A few times to be set on the board. Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a long session, I reckon, though. Considering the fact that, yeah, we only have 10 cars for this race. Which is a bit of a shame, but it's also, hopefully Lane will have a speedy recovery from dealing with COVID. Yeah, last night I was called in to do it, like, very, very last minute and all that. Thankfully, I was still actually linked into the Twitch account before I did Pacific Tier 1. Yeah, I did a freaking, what was it, 1 o'clock in the bloody morning, and then I finished right around 2:30 in the morning, I think it was. Yeah, it was a bit of a good race, so overall, considering we only had 12 cars for that race, but no, it wasn't too bad. A lot of ambitious stuff happening, and one particular, a certain Red Bull doing a bit of lawn mowing to get by Pags. When Sneaky went down the Hanger Straight and decided, you know what, I'm not going to use the left side of the track, I'll just use a bit of the right side of the track and lawn mow. JBH out on track again on an outlap. Axis as well. Blockman coming back out onto the track. As we have 9 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. But yeah, normally I wouldn't be commentating. I actually would be in the Ferrari for this occasion, of course, because I am a full-time driver for Pacific Tier 1, for America's Tier 1. But, yeah, just figured, even though, yeah, we have 10, I figured just to do a stream just because, well, this is a tile fight on the line, so gotta have something at least. Yeah, it's not like where we had, I remember, what was it, a couple seasons ago, when we had the final round at Jeddah, we didn't have both Axis and Mighty Wombat. Well, we had Mighty Wombat, we didn't have Axis there for the tile fight, because those two were fighting for the championship that season. But then I called it off because, well, we didn't have the numbers, and, well, the championship was wrapped up by then anyway. But yeah, 18 points, though, separating between Axis and Blockman. So yeah, basically, what Blockman basically needs to do is have at least one bad race from Axis, and then he just gotta do really well in the remaining parts of the races. Basically. But yeah, he obviously needs to outscore him by, obviously, 19 points. But like I said, there is a lot of points up for grabs, considering that the max you can get is 10 for the sprints and 30 for the race. So obviously 40 points up for grabs. As Blockman will now start again his second flying lap as he heads around Abbey through Farm, now on towards the Village Complex, down to third gear, short shifts up to fourth on the exit, heads around the loop, and then onto Aintree and the Wellington Straight. We'll up at DRS, head up towards Brooklands, see what kind of first sector split he'll have. He's actually well down by a 10th. Gee whiz. Considering that Ash's first split time was actually quicker, for the first time, well, the second time, without cutting the corner, he's actually purple through the first sector. So he's about 2/10 quicker than what Blockman did on that sector. But Blockman's first sector was about a 10th off of what he did personally. So basically, Axis has got about a 10th advantage to the first sector. But what about the middle sector, though? Does Blockman have anything through here? To the middle sector he comes. He is... No, he's still down. He hasn't even found anything on this lap. Axis, what about you? A 102 flat. This is definitely looking quite fast from Axis. Oh, but Blockman spins! Because he covered too much curve, and the car did not like that whatsoever. He spins around. Axis, meanwhile, will head up towards the Vale Chicane. Modulates the throttle. Very good job there from Axis. Around Club, up to the line, and it's a 125.223. He now takes provisional pole away from Blockman by just about a 10th of a second. And also to give you an idea of what pole time was, it was a 125 flat from what I saw last night from Pacific Tier 1. Rebel, meanwhile, goes P3, 25.5. Nico, meanwhile, is up by 20... No, he's actually finished his lap, I believe. He has a 25.9 currently. Captain Schmeg up by 0.3 of a second. Crosses the line. Will set at 25.6. Puts himself up into... puts himself up into P4. Gee whiz, I nearly had too much of a mouthful there saying that sentence. Nander, meanwhile, is coming up towards the first sector. Currently sitting in 8th with a 26.3. He is up by just over a 10th of a second to the first sector. JBH has invalidated his lap time, and I think Bola has doesn't seem like he's progressing on this lap, so he's kind of backed off. Axis has run out of fuel, that's why he's causing the yellow flags there in sector 2. He will have Nander coming his way shortly. Well, along with the Costi we can come up with. Up towards the middle sector, he is up by just over 4/10. With that sort of improvement, that's definitely going to challenge at least for a top 5. But can he get there is the question. So let's find out. Up towards the Vale Chicane. Around. Oh no! He's lost the back end! loses control at Vale, and, well, that's the lap gone. It's ruined. Ouch. JM doing a bit of lawn mowing, sitting on that lap, but apparently he's gone back in. I did see that Nander cutting a bit of track. That is something you're not allowed to do. You can't cut track to gain an advantage so you can get back into pit lane or start a lap. That is in the race spec rules. Alright, well, 3.5 minutes on the clock. Yeah, it already feels like it's gone quite long, hasn't it? Yeah, no one's really out on track. It's just Nander is, only because he's trying to get back into the pits. Rebel, though, will come back out. A bit early, though. About 3 minutes on the clock. I think it is for right now. Alright, well, let's see what he can come up with. Yeah, 3 minutes to go on the clock. I'm not sure, though, if Nander will have enough time to get back out. Where? Yeah, like, you're not allowed to do that. You can't just, yeah, you can't do that, but, yeah, you can't just cut the track so you can get back to pit lane or start a lap. I think that's definitely qualifying over for Nander, if I'm totally fair. Considering, too, that the pit lane at this place is a long crawl to the pits. I mean, really long. It's a 37-mile-an-hour pit lane. And basically where it starts at the entry to Vale, and then it cuts its way around the final two turns, cuts through the final two turns, and then, yeah, it's just, you have a long crawl down the pits. 37 miles an hour or 60 kilometers per hour down the Hamilton Straight, down the pit lane. See another car on track as well. JBH is on track, and same with Rebel's teammate. Yeah, Blockman's out on track as well. Now the other cars are starting to come out. So with about 1 minute and 40 on the clock, this will be their final laps. I don't think Rebel, if he has a mistake, I don't think he'll have enough time to go back around the track and go for another lap. So, with that being said, then, he'll get ready for what will be his final run. Yes, yeah, we got about 1 minute and 22 to go on the clock. Alright, here we go. Here goes Rebel for what will be his final lap, with 1 minute 10 to go. Down towards turn 1 of Abbey. Entry speed about 188, apex speed 185. Through Abbey and Farm, now into the loop. Or to Village, now into the loop, I should say. Second gear switches up to third. Onto Aintree and the Wellington Straits. Opens the DRS. We'll head up towards Brooklands. Entry speed about 200 miles an hour as he's up by just over 1/10.5 to the first sector. Blockman, meanwhile, making his way through Abbey as well. JBH, meanwhile, I haven't quite what his first sector split was. Keep your eyes on Blockman, see if he can have any sort of improvement. He wasn't improving the last time. He couldn't even find anything on his second attempt, but can he find anything here with the track evolution? Now it's starting to ramp up maybe a little bit. He has found a bit of time, though. Only 40 thousandths, though. Not very much there. Remember, he needs to find over a 10th if he wants to beat Axis for pole position. Rebel, though, is up by nearly 4 tenths to the middle sector. That's definitely, I think, good enough for pole position. Let's see here. Out of Stowe corner. Now heads up towards the Vale chicane. Down to third gear. Modulates the throttling. We'll head around the penultimate corner, onto the final turn, back onto the main straight. It's pole position for now for Rebel with a 1 minute 25.1. Axis, meanwhile, to the first sector. Is he up? No, he hasn't. He's actually not found anything in the first sector. Blockman, though, is up by just nearly a 10th. He needs to find just a few thousandths to get ahead of his rival as he heads around the Vale chicane. Up towards Club, up to the line. Oh, he couldn't do it. He lost out to Axis by 7 thousandths of a second. Meanwhile, Captain Schmeg up by just over a tenth and a half. He'll cross the line, and it's going to be P4 still. But a very good lap time by Captain Schmeg with a 125.355. JM goes back into pit lane. Axis has not found any time at all. Nico's up by just over a tenth and a half. He'll head around Vale up towards Club. We'll cross the line and we'll set a 125.7. And it's going to be Rebel on pole position here for the British Grand Prix. Well, for the sprint, I should say. For the British Grand Prix. 50,000 separating the top three. Rebel on pole, followed by Axis, Blockman, Captain Schmeg, Nico, JM, Lil Mick, JBH, Nander, and Black Bulla. Righto. Okay. Now remember I did say before that this sorry, that this race is gonna be wet, so that's something to keep in mind. But it will be dry for the main race. So yeah, let's say if even Axis wins the sprint, but Blockman doesn't because he crashes out or something, the championship fight still goes on. But then it would be more difficult. But what Blockman needs really for his sake is to have a good race and also have Axis maybe have one bad race and the other one be a subpar race. Basically, so in order to get the Drivers' Championship. Alright, so everyone waiting to get all good to go with their setups, and we'll get underway very shortly. Yeah, it is a pissy, rainy race here at Silverstone. A typical British weather. Weather. I am really doing bad with my English today, it seems. But yeah, thankfully for the drivers, at least it'll be dry for the main race. Yeah, wet weather around Silverstone is not a fun experience. Especially if you go through Culp's Corner. It's not a flat-out corner anymore. You have to remember, too. It's not a flat-out corner in the wet conditions. It's completely... excuse me. It's completely scary. So yeah, the drivers will have to be mindful of that. You know, funny thing is, once upon a time, that corner, Culp's Corner, actually used to be the first corner on the racetrack here at Silverstone, when it used to be the old bridge circuit. Yeah, the first corner used to be Culp's Corner, then the other couple of first corners were Maggotts and Beckett's. Yeah, what an interesting little track that was, their bridge circuit, before they made this current layout. I think it would be until, what, 2011 that they went to this main straight? I suppose, yeah. I think it was during that sort of occasion. Yeah, and of course, ever since then, it's been that way since 2011. Also, once upon a time, too, the Hamilton Straight used to have a DRS zone back in 2018, and boy, was that a dangerous one as well. You can ask Marcus Ericsson how that turned out for him at what was it, 2018? Yeah, 2018. I actually said 2018 before that, but there you go. Yeah, we had like a big, hefty whack into the barrier at Abbey. But that was just because he was using DRS at one point and the car just went completely off on him. Alright, well here we go. It's time for the sprint here. 5 red lights in front of us. And 9 last laps to come. And we're underway here for the sprint. It's going to be a little bit of a crawl for some of the drivers here at the start of the race. But they get through okay, it seems, for the first phase. How about the other phases? Rebel leads the way. Axis in second. Jay is overtaking his teammate. He'll try to dive down the inside of Captain Schmeg. Oh no! That was a bit of a moment there from Jay. I think he might have had contact with his teammate. Not in the most purposeful way. I think that was by incidental way. Oh, dearie me. In the midfield, someone got completely sideways. I couldn't quite tell from the spray. But yeah, everyone's getting through all right, at least for the most part. Apart from that little incident from Jay. He's down to 10th because of that incident. Meanwhile, though, Nander and JBH are side by side heading through left field. Look at the spray coming off of the cars. It's going to be impossible for anybody to see in these sort of conditions. And meanwhile, though, Axis all over the back of Rebel, and Blotman is not necessarily had the good first lap. He's down by nearly a second to his championship rival. He needs to close up a bit more, but I would imagine, though, that Rebel is not going to make this fight easy for Axis as they head up towards the Stoke corner. Geez, look at the speed that Rebel's got in that Alpine. Look at the spray, too, coming off of these things. Yeah, it's going to be so impossible for anyone to see with these sort of conditions. They are all in the wet tires, you can see, the blue striped Pirelli tires. We'll end the first lap very shortly, but it's Rebel that leads the way. Oh, hello. What's going on here? Axis had some kind of a moment. He was up by, or he was down by like a couple of tenths to Rebel. Now he's lost time to him as JBH goes to pit lane. He must have sustained some damage on the opening lap. So now Black Ball and JM have gained a spot from it. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, front wing damage to the Mercedes-Benz. Meanwhile, though, Axis still keeping his rival at bay. The main thing is that he needs to focus on the championship. Don't want to focus too much on Rebel. If he does go into the distance, well, let him go into the distance. Main thing you got to focus on is your rival. That's a safe start with Blotman. He needs to focus mainly on his rival. Yeah, top 3 have literally pulled away. Look at that. It's now only 3 seconds separating Captain Schmeg and Blotman. And right now he's leading this group with Nico and Mick and Nander just behind. Through Maggots and Beckett's on towards the Hangar Straights. Half a second is the margin between the top 2. Axis has pulled the gap back up a little bit more as we head around Stoke corner. Got to keep following as best you can here. Blotman, he just needs to keep his head down. Don't make any mistakes. Don't get irritated. You got to make sure you finish this race. That's all you got to do. Oh, Captain Schmeg nearly had a moment there coming out of Vale. He's got Nico all over his rear wing as he heads up towards the Abbey corner. Yeah, it's not flat out there either. You got to lift through here as well. Very tricky complex to negotiate. Up towards now the loop. Yeah, look how much they're just crawling their way through here in these corners. You cannot put a foot wrong at all. You got to be very, very careful. I heard a bit of a lock up there from Nico and around Luffield. On towards Woodcut. Rebel starting to put a bit of a gap to Axis. The gap now is nearly a second between the top 2. It's now over that. Put up the telemetry to give you an idea what everyone's at. Rebel is, he's got 57% But another thing he's got too, you see the yellow fuel icon, that tells you that he's low on his target. Yellows, that's Black Bowler into the barrier there, Cop's corner. Not a great start to the sprints for both Mercedes drivers, as they both go a ways from the field due to some incidents. Yeah, Axis though has got 27% of battery. Blockman's got 64%. Schmeg 52, Nico. Yeah, everyone's got pretty decent battery. The only worst one is Axis with 22% battery. Yeah, Rebel might need to be careful with that fuel. Yes, you can gain fuel whilst you're in the wet conditions, but the problem is it's gonna be but if you have it too low, it's gonna be very difficult. Yeah, if you have the target too low, that is. Black Bowler has retired in the pits, has he? Yeah, he has. So he'll start at 10th for the main race. And we're down to 9 cars for this sprint. Yeah, Axis has pulled up a gap to Blockman. The gap now is 2.5 seconds. That's honestly the best thing right now that Axis can do, is just build that gap to Blockman. Yeah, right now he's doing what he can do. I think right now the best thing he can do, they all can do, is just get through this race. Rebel does seem like he has really good pace, considering the fact that he's got a lot more battery than Axis does. Yeah. Yeah, the main thing you gotta focus on is about finishing in these sort of positions for Axis and Blockman. Yeah, one little slip up and it could definitely change a lot of the implications in the championship. As we head around the Vale chicane through Club. Nico, oh Nico, keep it steady Nico. Oh, how on earth did he save that? Dude was sideways for about nearly, what was that, about nearly 100 meters. And he somehow kept the car pointing in the right direction. Let alone he didn't put the damn thing in the wall. But credit to him. Very big credit to him. .4 is the margin right now between Rebel and Axis. 3.2 is the margin between Axis and Blockman. Yeah, Blockman just doesn't have the same pace compared to his teammate and his championship rival. Yeah, he's sort of struggling. He needs to just keep his head down. That's all you can do. And if I actually remember correctly, speaking of championships, I think Blockman, if I remember correctly, won the America's Open again, didn't he, last Sunday? Yeah, beat his teammate by 1 point, but congratulations to him for that. Alpine again once having a dominant season in the America's Open. Nander going down the inside of Lil Mick into Stowe corner. In these sort of conditions, can he give it Vale? He'll go to the outside, he locks up. He does make the corner though, that's the main thing. He gets through. Actually, it was good. Very good driving. Lil Mick though, not done yet. He'll look for the inside at Club, but no avail. Has to stay behind the Haas. Alright, through the loop, onto Aintree and the Wellington Straight, on towards Brooklands. Yeah, everyone's all spread out. The only closest battle we've got right now is between Lil Mick and Nanders. JBH has also retired, so both Mercedes have retired in the sprints. They will start from the back in 10th and 9th. Not that it's a total big loss, but yeah, they just had enough of being alone. Although, I mean, they could have just tried to score something. I mean, you could still score points. from where you're at. It's only the top 10 that score points in sprint rounds. It's not like in a real life F1 where it's the top 8 that score points. Speaking of sprint rounds, I actually saw that they've announced the calendar for that. I think we have 5 if I'm correct. Some of them I'm okay with, but a couple I'm a bit questionable in my mind. I saw that the first sprint will be at Shanghai. Of course, as you may know on the 2024 calendar, that F1's going back to China. We haven't been there since 2019. In fact, that was actually the time where F1 had its 1000th Grand Prix. But yeah, no, we haven't been there since 2019 because of COVID and whatnot. And F1 will make its return there. Hopefully they do. But as a sprint round, I don't know if I like that idea because they don't know what kind of data they're going to get with these cars, especially the fact that they're going to have to stick to one setup for that particular Grand Prix for a track they haven't been to for about a few years. But that's not the only one. We also got Miami being a sprint round as well. Now, I don't know how to feel about that, especially the fact that Miami's had some okay races here and there, but for the last couple of years, but nothing too exciting about it. If I'm completely fair. As a sprint round, though, I feel like it's gonna be carnage. I'm surprised we haven't had too many of those sort of moments where it's been carnage here and there. The only time we did have that at Miami was when that incident happened between Gasly and Norris. Ooh, speaking of that, Nando nearly had a moment himself out of Chapel as he heads up towards Stowe Corner. Well, Mick not close enough though to attack. And meanwhile, the top two though, the gap has grown a bit more, now 3.6 seconds. Blockman though hasn't closed up on Axis either. It's right now 3.9 between Axis and Blockman. Yeah, right now in this scenario, Axis would gain 1 point over him, over Blockman, and the gap now would be 19 points if it were to finish like that. Nico will retire. He will start in 8th. I think he might have met the 90% rule. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, he'll start from 8th ahead of the two Mercedes. Jay is also a bit low on fuel, I've noticed too. But yeah, the other ones that I was about to say, we have also, what is it? We have Austria, which I do agree because it's a short track and it's a good little track for a sprint race. Coda will be back as a sprint again. That actually will be good to see it back. And the final one will be at Qatar. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I forgot about another one. It's Interlagos. Silly me. Oh, hello, that's Nander into the wall. I saw him spinning in the background there on the hangar straight. He gets going again. Oh, dear. But that drops him down to 6th place now because of that little spin. As we're now onto the final lap. Rebel. Well, it seems like he's going to pretty much be keeping this all under control here. Gap right now 4 seconds. Pretty much been in cruise control throughout this sprint. Lovely pink helmet, by the way, from Axis. I think if I remember, he used that helmet from when we had, well, the time when we had the F1 World Cars in some of the rounds because of that little glitch that happened where if you have the multiplayer performance, well, for the cars to be on equal for the 2023 cars, they weren't equal. And not only that, Codemasters did that twice. Think about it. Yep, they did that twice on that occasion. Yeah, right now Axis has got a 3.8 second margin, 3.9 now between himself and Blockman. He needs to get through this. That's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to do anything special. Just finish the race. He'll gain another point, which will be then 19. Blockman just needs to finish and keep it that way as well for his sake of the championship. Yeah, if everyone's all spread out. So, Rebel will come to the final 3 turns around Vale and the round club in this sprint race. It's been pretty much a commanding drive from Rebel here for this 9-lap race. He will win it here in the sprint race here at Silverstone, and we'll start from pole for the main race. Axis finishes P2, Blockman finishes in P3. Captain Schmeg will finish P4, Lil Mick P5, Jay will finish at 6, and then Nander will finish in 7th place. So now the live standings as it stands for the top 2. The gap now is 19 points between Blockman and Axis. Or Axis and Blockman, I should say. Axis still has the advantage. I guess driver of the day, even though he only started P2 and finished P2. And yeah, there's your classification there for the sprints. Rebel wins, Axis, Blockman, Schmeg, Lil Mick, Nander, Nico, JVH, and Black Ball will start from the back. Actually, it looks like Nico was class. Even though he didn't finish, it still gave him the point. Even though it says here he DNF'd, I don't know how they'll work that out. But, yep, that is the result. Alright, so let's work a bit of math then, shall we? Gap right now is 19 points between Axis and Blockman. So we go with the point system. If Blockman wants to win this championship, he would, let's see, hypothetically, if we were to say win the race, he would have to have Axis finish in 7th, I think. Yeah, he would have to have Axis finish in 7th. I think also claim fastest lap since Axis has the count back on wins, because he's got, if I go to the results, Axis has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races, and Blockman has won 4. So yeah, Axis has the count back. So yeah, Blockman would have to win Axis to finish 7th and get fastest lap. I'm sure if Rebel is listening to this, I think he might be relaying that to Blockman as I'm saying that. Yeah, no, this season though has been quite a season for Axis. For sure. Win at Austria, Spain, Canada, Katsa. Oh wait, no, that was the sprint he won. I'm sorry, I thought that was the main race. No, he won. Sorry, I'll count this back then. Austria, Belgium, Canada, Mexico. So he's won 1, 2, 3, 4 races. Okay. And Blockman has won 4. Okay, so they are even on count back. But who has finished second place the most? Looks like Blockman has. Blockman's finished P2 4, 5 times. Axis has finished P2 2 times. So yeah, Blockman has the countback advantage. Even though they are similar on wins, they are not in terms of second place finish. I think that's how it works out. I think. I'm not going to be 100% on that, but that's what I think. Alright, well, everyone's all ready to go. This is it, the final race of the Season 9 Championship here on the America Series. And we're underway for the America Series 2-1 here at Silverstone once again. Axis with a blinder of a start. He moves himself already into the lead of the race before Abby. Rebel in second. Captain Schmay down to, right now battling Blockman, I should say, for third. As Captain Schmay has a bit of a wiggle there. JM looking to the outside there at Loop. And on to Aintree in the Wellington Straight. Everyone getting through relatively fine. No incidents from what I can tell. Oh, I should get rid of that. As we head up towards Brooklands. Little Mick looking down the inside of Jay. Hey, up towards Brooklands. He's side by side still with the Williams. Oh, geez, he went really deep in the inside, didn't he, there? Oh, and another wiggle there from Jay. As we head up towards now Cop's Corner. Flat out now this time in these conditions. No need to deal with the wet weather conditions like we did the last time. But Axis got a blinder of a start. A good start for him nonetheless. Black Bola gets ahead of Nico. That is for 7th position. As we head up through the Maggots and Beckett's complex. JBH going to the around the right side. And same with Nander there. Down the hanger straight. Nico has to concede. He'll go behind the pair of these guys. Nander looking interested on JBH. Not close enough to attack. And Axis, well, he's already started to bolt it. He's already got a flashing red light on the back of his car, too. Used up all the battery he could to get away from Rebel. The gap now is 1.1 seconds at the end of the first lap. So, got a long, long way to go here in this sprint. Oh, the sprint, in the main race, I should say. As Nico goes into the pit, so he must have sustained some damage there on the opening lap. Tires for everybody. Hard tires for everybody except for 2, that being Captain Schmeg and Jay in 5th place. Around Luffield, up towards Woodcut. Rebel trying to keep the gap under a second as best he can. He doesn't want to lose DRS to Axis. Right now, they're building up a gap towards the top 2. And look, the Axis has already burned up his battery. He's down to 8%. Rebel's down to 25. Bloodman's got 43. So he's the best so far out of this whole top 3 so far. Yeah, look at that. Axis already has burned up all the battery so far. All of it has gone out the window. Yeah, he was just trying to get it bolted out of here as quickly as he could. But now he's in the clutches of Rebel, and Rebel does set the fastest lap with a 28.6. Axis, though, if he does get overtaken by these 2 Alpines, the only thing he has to do is he has to remember is not finish 7th or lower than that, especially if Bloodman does get the race win. Yeah. Bloodman, though, just needs to pray for that, pretty much. But right now, I don't think that's going to happen unless Axis makes a catastrophic mistake. They both have DRS on the AlphaTauri as we head around Luffield. Pretty bit deep there for... pretty deep there for... I'm trying to get that out of my mouth. Eventually there. He missed the apex quite a bit there at Luffield as he heads up towards Cop's Corner. Absolutely flat out as well. I probably would imagine, though, Rebel will try to instantly overtake the AlphaTauri just so he could play a little bit of a team game here for Blockman. Here he comes. Yep, here we go. Lines up an overtake. He'll get the overtake done. Does Blockman follow suit? He cannot do anything here. Not in the situation he's in. He's not really close enough to do anything here to attack into Stowe Corner. Oh, that's a bit too much curve though, I'd say. There from Blockman. Up towards the Hamilton Straight. Onto lap 426. Really what Axis can do in this situation, what he can do in this situation, use DRS against on Rebel, but play a conservative role, play the long game and build up the battery. But he also has to be very careful of Blockman, because he is going to definitely gun for him. And speaking of that, he's going to go for, oh, well, he tried to the inside of Brooklands, but it wasn't close enough to attack there. Heading around left field, up towards Woodcut. And the gap right now is hovering at just less than a second separating these three. Meanwhile, a little further back, you have Captain Schmeg, Jay, and Lil Mick in this little train. And also you got Black Bull and Nander JBH in a bit of a train as well. We'll put up the battery as well, just to give you an idea wherever they're all sat. They are all relatively equal in terms of battery, these three cars. Not close enough though for Axis to do anything here. But I don't think he necessarily wants to do that. Nander overtakes Bola, that is for 7th place. Around Club. Back onto the Hamilton straight. We begin lap 5 of 26 here in this race. To farm up towards, oh, backing him up just a little bit there, Rebel. And you can see how much Axis is so committed through some of these turns. Up towards now Brooklands. He won't be close enough to do anything here. But like I said, he doesn't necessarily need to do anything. You gotta think the long game. That's all you gotta do. Think the long game. That's how you win the championships, pretty much. But also not to make a mistake. Lotman using battery, but... oh, here he comes! Up to Cobb's corner at the inside move! Axis goes off the track. That might have given him a warning. He saw Blockman coming. He gave him as much room as he could. Eventually he did give him room. But he's really close to the back. He's got the momentum as well. Blockman trying to get the slipstream from his teammate. They're side by side, nearly heading up towards Stoke Corner. Down the inside goes the Alpine, but the AlphaTauri fights. Still fights. Now up towards Vale. He shoots it down the inside, but not close enough. Blockman just trying every way to get through, but he just can't at the moment. He's just pretty much stuck. Through Abbey, now to the village. Up towards now the loop, and then Aintree and the Wellington straight again. They're wide there from Blockman. That might have compromised his exit just a little bit. Look at them, they're just using battery. Quite a bit. A bit more than I expected these guys to do, if I'm totally fair. The funny thing is, the best driver out of all this in terms of battery is the race leader, Rebel. Yeah, he's only got 43%. Compared to the cars behind him, have quite less than that. Oh, that's also might be a warning there for Blockman too. He went wide at Cops as they head up towards now Maggots and Beckett's. 6.5 tenths the margin between the top two. Over to DRS. Up towards Stokecore. Blockman this time is not close enough to do anything. How much of the undercut will also be a factor as well. And also, I just noticed too, James also got past Captain Schmey. That's for 4th. That must have happened a little while ago. Nader looking for a move here on Bola into Vale. Not close enough to do anything. Nader will try to go for a switcheroo, but... oh, nope, there goes Bola. Too much throttle, and he spun the car. I figured by the time he was about to go around, I figured that he used a bit too much throttle, and that's the result. And Bola's been disqualified for facing the wrong way. Well, there you go. Season's done then for Bola. Been disqualified. Here comes Blockman, inside move into Brooklands. He'll have the outside line though for Luffield. He will... oh, that's a bit of contact, but cannot get through on the AlphaTauri. He's not close enough. As we now head up towards Cops Corner, turn 9. flashing red line on the back of the AlphaTauri. Same story as well as Blotman and the Alpine. Up towards now Stowe corner. Nander, Captain Schmidt, what's going on with him? He's dropped 2 positions. He must have made a big mistake somewhere there at down the higher straight. Yeah, they've lost out though to Lil Mick and Jay. That is for sure. Not close enough for Blotman to attack. Just keeping behind Axis at the moment. Axis just trying to keep Blotman at bay as best he can. Rebel doing the same thing with the 2 cars behind. He's got 2 cars behind him fighting for a championship. Yeah, Blotman looking for a repeat in the America Series Tier 1. We haven't had a back-to-back 2-time champion in this series since Alp when he did it back in season 2 and 4. That was the last time. Other than that, it's been mainly different types of champions, pretty much. Different champions. I don't know who season 1 was because I wasn't there for it, but yeah, season 2 was Alp. Season 3 was another quick cunt by the name of Ecos Nicholas. Actually does real life racing now in some kind of Formula 4 category, if I'm correct. And yeah, then ever since then, season 4 was another quick driver as well by the name of Assassin. Yeah, he was a very quick customer before he was on PlayStation, now he's on PC. Then season 6 myself, season 7 was Mighty Wombat. Season 8 was Blotman, but who's going to be season 9 is the question. Will Axis pop his name into that category, or is it going to be Blotman again? Down the Harris, Wellington straight. Top 3 still close, not close enough to do anything. How about these guys though? Well, Mick, not really close enough to do anything. JBH looking for a move on Nander into Brooklands. He'll get through. He's up to 6th place ahead of him. Ooh, but has a bit of a moment there coming out of that corner. Eight through Maggots and Beckett's complex. On to Chapel, onto the hanger straight. Axis cannot find anything there through Stowe. He won't be close enough to do anything here. Lil Mick though will line up a move. He'll get him on Jay on DRS. Same with Nander on JBH. Lil Mick to 4th, Nander up to 6th. Ooh, that's a bit tight. But JBH would have been a little bit too close there to the back of the Haas. There was a moment in the process. Axis looking for a move around the outside at Village. Isn't close enough to do anything here. Looking very interested, trying to get by Rebel. Got DRS open. He's also got the battery turned on. Oh, he's boxing in Blotman there on his teammate. Oh dear, that's close. Blotman to the inside now. That's kind of left Axis a bit vulnerable to Blotman. Blotman will draw alongside. He's on the right-hand side of his championship rival. Onto Cops corner. They're both wheel to wheels. They make the way through Cops. They both get through. Very respectful racing still. Wheel to wheel as Axis now gets on by. Back into 2nd. Wow. That was hard racing, but very good driving by both of them. But Blotman, though, has the momentum. He's got the outside now. Hey, up towards Stowe corner. Into Stowe. They still give each other room. Axis, though, has a bit of a moment, but he still keeps in front for now. Blockman, though, has the inside line for Vale. That'll convert then for Axis, then into Club. He still keeps the position for now. They're still wheel to wheel. Axis now gets in front. Wow. What hard racing by the both of them. Blockman still trying to find a way past. He can't do anything here. He had a bit of a real lockup in the process. He saw him trying to save the car from running into Axis. But because of that fight, they've now lost touch to Rebel. It's now 1.4 seconds. Jay not close enough to do anything here on Lil Mick. Nader won't do anything here against JBH. Yeah, I could not believe how they were side by side through a good significant period there, these two. They managed to get through it, that's the main thing. They got through it. They're both fighting for a championship. Oh no, Axis nearly had a big snap of oversteer at the exit of Chapel. Here comes Blockman. He'll take P2 away. Now, does anyone go for an undercut here in this situation? Not quite. Axis, you gotta keep following as best you can. Right now, as it stands, Axis would claim the championship. Blockman, though, he needs to catch up to his teammate. But I know that if Rebel, though, does slow down for Blockman to catch up, then Axis will be back into the mix. And I think that's exactly what's happened. No, actually not that case. Even though Blockman is under a second, Blockman wasn't under a second at the detection point. So that's why Axis still is keeping up with these two Alpines. Yeah, right now the gap is 9/10 of a second. Rebel trying to do everything he can for his teammate, but I don't think that's the situation he can do right now. If he does keep dropping back more, Axis is still going to keep closing up. So either way, the Alpines are a bit screwed here in some sort of situation. In this sort of situation, I should say. All right, JM, DRS wide open. He'll try to close up on Lil Mick. Won't do anything here. Nader overtakes JBH back for 6th. No one really has decided to pit just quite yet. They're all staying out at least for a little while longer. The margin is 6/10 between the top two. 6/10 between the two championship protagonists. Onto the Wellington Straight. Towards Brooklyn. Nothing to fail there through that corner. On the lap 13 of 26. Still got about halfway to go. Nader picks up the first penalty of the race, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's definitely not going to help him in this sort of occasion. Heading around Cop's corner. Oh, wide there for Mick. Gets back on the track. That was nearly costly there for the McLaren driver. Up towards Stowe corner. Blockman keeping in touch with his teammate. Axis keeping in touch with the two Alpines. And they're both pitting. They are both pitting this lap. The two championship protagonists are in the pits. The others have stayed out. Nader, though, actually has decided to come in, so it's 3 drivers now in the pit lane. And Bloodman and Axis will get off of those hards and onto a set of mediums. There you go. Medium tires for Blockman. Medium tires for Captain Schmeg. Hard tires for Nander? Sorry, medium tires for Nander. Sorry, I forgot he was starting on those tires. JBH a penalty as well for multiple warnings. Alright, so they're gonna get a pretty big undercut here at Sames here. Rebel on Rebel maybe. Blockman and Axis. If Rebel doesn't respond this lap. But the one thing that is significant about this game, though, is that the younger tires you have, the better life you have on the tires, basically. You get better grip and whatnot, too. Alright, Jay again with DRS, but he won't be close enough to attack Lil Mick. I'm gonna guess he's gonna try to go for a medium soft strategy. As I say that, he goes into pit lane, so take that back. Alright, Rebel is in, and same with Jay. Now the ones you gotta keep an eye on is these two. Where are they gonna come out relative? Where's Rebel gonna come out relative to these two? Access to the inside at Stowe Corner. Is he gonna get the move done? He needs to do so if he wants to get ahead of Blockman. Oh, that's tight. They give each other room. Contact, but that was just incidental. And they get through. Axis takes back the position away from Blockman. But where is Rebel? Where is the other Alpine? There he is on the right-hand side. As the undercut worked, and oh, it's close. Axis though has the fresher, or the hotter tires. Rebel has cold tires. Gotta be careful here. Axis will take back the position away from Rebel. He's now to third. He's got DRS, but Rebel's got the straight line speed compared to the Alpha Tauri, even with DRS. Axis stays in front at least for now. He's into third. Rebel to fourth. Blockman to fifth. Axis though goes wide. Doesn't really compromise him much, at least for now. Axis doing everything he can to keep Rebel at bay, but how long will that last? I don't think it'll last very long, of course. The Maggots and Beckett, that's a bit of a cut there, I'd say, there from Rebel. Here we go, DRS wide open. We saw how quick this thing was down the straight, even without DRS, and well, he's just gonna blitz up by, and Blockman does the same thing too! Oh, contact, and Blockman goes off the road! Oh no, the championship protagonist has gone off the road at turn 15. He's dropped down to 7th place. There was contact between him and Axis, and it's led into a dramatic consequence. He's down to 8th place. And that could be Blockman's championship hopes out the window, just like that. As Lil Mick is down behind Jay coming out of the pits. So Jake's got the undercut done on him. But he's got 2 cars behind him on fresh medium compound tires. Can you believe it? That could be the championship right there. Yeah, Blockman tried to go for the inside move. There was contact. The car got unsettled and Blockman went straight off at Stowe Corner. Meanwhile, though, the battle for third is raging on. This is for the podium, at least the final podium spot. I never thought I would think this would be the case, but it is. Axis sets fastest lap as well, 128.4. Around club onto the Hamilton straight. Up towards Abbey. As Little Mick is lagging for me. Farm now into the village. Onto the loop. And then onto Aintree and the Wellington Straight. Yeah, Blockman right now is 2.3 seconds behind JBH. He's got a long way to catch the top two. He needs a safety car, really, to have any sort of hope in this championship. And right now, I don't think that's going to happen unless someone crashes out. Oh, Mick. Nothing doing here. They'll try to line up a move here at the Hayer Straight, I imagine. Meanwhile, speaking of that, these two, though, battling for P1, Axis and Rebel. Not close enough for Axis to do anything. I don't think he'll necessarily want to do anything in this sort of situation. There goes Little Mick, and there goes the Haas of Nander. They moved up ahead of JM. Jay's now down to 5th place, Little Mick to 3rd, Nander to 4th. Onto the Hamilton Straight. Down towards Abbey, then Farm. How this battle looking at right now. 4/10 the margin. Excuse me, 4/10 the margin between these two. Yeah, I wonder what the stewards are going to have to say if this does get reported. Between what happened in Axis and Axis and Blockman. But even if Axis does get a penalty, I don't think, in this situation, I don't think that's going to matter. Yeah, because the gap right now between those two is probably just about 15 seconds as Jay goes off the road onto the grass. He's definitely now got some grass onto his tires, as Lil Mick has got himself a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. There goes Nander. He moves himself up into 3rd position ahead of the McLaren. Whoa. Lock up there from Jay. Around Club, onto the Hamilton Straight. Still trying to keep up as best he can on those hard compound tires. Rabbit Farm onto the village corner. Now onto Aintree and then the Wellington Straight again. Not close enough to do anything here. Nico, 5-second penalty. I think he's going to call it quits from what it looks like. Yep. He's done for the day. That's the season over there for Nico. Through Cop's corner. More lag there from Lil Mick. Axis meanwhile trying to keep up with Rebel as best he can. Still has DRS on the Alpine. To catch up to the Alpine, I should say. Nico leaves the session. Lil Mick draws alongside the Haas. He moves him to 4th place. On towards the Vale chicane. We're now on to lap 20 of 26. 7 more laps to go in this race. Blockman has caught up to JBH. All over the back of the Mercedes-Benz. There's Captain Schmeg as well. Not too far away either. On those 4-lap-old softs. Around Aintree down the Wellington Straight. Nander. Can he line up a move? The answer is no. He is not close enough to do anything here. round left field. Up towards Woodcut, and then Copse Corner. Down towards Magnuson Beckett's. Those two need to get a move on though, Lil Mick and Nader. They have 3-second penalties. Unless Jay gets himself a penalty himself, then it's game on between these three. Oh, hang on, I got a phone call. Sorry about that. Anyway, no changes right now in the positions. Well, I take that back. Lil Mick is now taking the position away from Nader. He's up to third. Oh, that's close. Oh, bit too close there between the Haas and the McLaren. Gee whiz. Blockman now moves ahead of JBH. He's up to 6th. Captain Schmeg not far away from this little battle either. Alright, on towards Stoke Corner. Not doing anything through here. Oh, Nader, that's a bit too much curve there, I'd say, my guy. JBH and Blockman are side by side at one point there. Blockman gets in front of the Mercedes. Yeah, trying to recover whatever he can after that incident between himself and Axis at Stowe. Axis is doing everything he can to just drive. That's all he can do at this point. The car behind him has got a 10-second margin. Well, not only that, the car behind him has also got 3 seconds worth of penalties. So yeah, even though there's a safety car, I don't think you'll have to worry too much. Well, man, that will really need a safety car to get him at least some sort of chance within the next few laps. Yeah, right now, as it stands, though, Axis will be crowned the Drivers' Championship for the America Series in Tier 1. Even if, let's say, Axis does crash out or retire right now, Blockman would still not have enough, though, to beat him. Blockman gets passed by JBH. Shizzy nearly has a bit of a moment and gets a penalty in the process. Deary me, that was close. Oh, what's happened there? Nader went a bit off the road. Jay had a bit of an incident there with Nader, I suppose. Sector 1 yellow flags. What's this for? That's Nader again. He's gone off the road there at Farm. Now back on the track. On towards turn 6 at Brooklands, onto Luffield, turn 7. Yeah, if we get across the line with 3 laps to go, there will be no safety cars from this point forward, no matter what happens. Up towards now Still corner. Jay not close enough to do anything here. The leaders have begun lap 24-26, so there is no safety cars from this point forward. It's just our race to the checkered flag. And right now, Axis has got the margin to win the championship. His rival right now is down in 6th place. Nanda retires from the race. I think he will be classified. Up towards now. Brooklyn's JM not close enough to attack. Saying that penalties have a big implication in this race for the podium. Especially as it stands, a Blockman would finish in 5th, but yeah, even if Axis does crash or something, it still wouldn't be enough. Axis not close enough to do anything on Rebel. Just been following and following and following. Just got all these little packs of cars roaming about. Here comes Blockman again. DRS enabled for the Alpine. He moves to the right hand side. He's back into 5th position. I'm sure he'll keep that locked unless Captain Schmeg has a response to Blockman. But judging by the pace difference, I don't think he will. Captain Schmeg now moves through. He's up to 6th position ahead of JVH. As the leaders have also begun the penultimate lap of this race. 1 or 2 more laps to go for what will be the conclusion of the America Series Tier 1 here on Race Spec Esports in Season 9. Around left field, up towards Woodcut. Going to Cobb's corner. Nothing doing here, not close enough for Jay to do anything. Can't really do anything with Cobb's where you're that far back. Axis is lining up a pass here on Rebel. He'll move to the inside. He'll take the race lead away from Rebel. He not only wants to win the race, or win the championship, he wants to win the race as well. Jay also now moves through. He's up into 3rd. As we now begin the final lap of the America Series Tier 1. Axis leads now by just 2.5 tenths to Rebel. Rebel, though, I don't think will go down without a fight. As we head around the loop, onto Aintree and down the Wellington Straight. They both are equal on battery, but Rebel has got some speed in that Alpine. He's got some straight line speed, as we saw before. He just needs to keep a tight margin between himself and Axis if he wants a chance for a win. Bit of a wiggle there, I think, there from Axis. Onto the old pitch straight. Now to Cops. Flat out through Cops' corner. Now up towards the Maggots and Beckett's complex here. A bit of a lift there from Rebel. Doesn't want to lie of anything yet. Axis, though, gets a good little run there through Maggots and Beckett. But here comes the Alfie with DRS. And with a bit of battery. But I don't think he's going to be close enough. He will not get him here at Stowe. He will not get him here. Rebel, though, tries to fight to the right-hand side. Can he get... Oh, there's contact, but nothing happens there. Meanwhile, though, Axis will not only win the race here at Silverstone, he claims the Drivers' Championship here in America Series Tier 1. He is your Drivers' Champion. Congratulations to Axis. Jay will finish in 3rd. Oh, and a big confetti as well. Jay finished as 3rd. Little Mick in 4th. And Blotman, oh, he'll be finishing in 5th place. Captain Schmay gets 6th. And there we are. That now concludes everything here in the America Series 2-1. Axis claims the 5th win of the season and the Drivers' Championship. Still have yet to have another 2-time champion other than Alp. But we've got a new one in the list, and his name is Axis. The unofficial results then of this British Grand Prix. Axis wins the British Grand Prix, the main race here today, and claims the Drivers' Championship. Rebel finishes in 2nd, along with Jay, Blockman, Lil Mick, JBH, Nader, and Nico, and Bluffle Ashley. That's the overall weekend result. This is the race results. Axis, Rebel, Jay, Lil Mick, Blockman, Captain Schmay, JBH, Nader, Nico, and these 3 will not be classified, I don't think. Yeah, they were not classified. So, yeah, Nico's fast lap won't count. But yeah, that's it. The season is done and dusted here in the America Series. Yeah, shame we only had 10 cars for this field, but it's what we worked with, and we got through it. That's the main thing. And one hell of a ride, that's for sure. Oh, can we get to the other screen? There we go. Now we're good. But yeah, no, congratulations to Axis on the Drivers' Championship as first in the Tier 1 series. He won Tier 2, actually, if I remember last season. But to be fair, though, that was something he shouldn't have been a part of, if I'm totally honest. I think this is now more of a legit championship that he won. And, well, he deserved it. He deserved every single aspect of it. So he did a great job overall. Congratulations, Axis, on the Drivers' Championship. And yeah, congratulations to everyone else that participated. Well, congratulations to Alpine, of course, for winning the Constructors' Championship. 2nd season in a row that they've done that. And yeah, I don't know what's going to hold for America's Tier 1, but we'll wait and see, I guess. But what I can say is, this is it. So yeah, that's it for Race Spec. No more weekend series, no more weekday series. It's all finished. So now on to the Christmas break, and whenever the next season is, we'll be back for another season of Race Spec F1 Esports. But yeah, thank you also to Lane as well, if he does watch this back or whatever case it is. Thank you so much for commentating once again for America Series Tier 1. It was a pleasure to have Lane as a commentator. Of course, the best commentator in Race Spec F1 Esports. And yeah, hopefully we'll have him back again next season. And hopefully next time about I'll be back on the track. But I'm not sure what my future will hold for the America Series. But we can close it up. Time to end the stream then. I have been K1997. Thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you back whenever that is again for Race Spec F1 Esports. Good night, everybody.